Right, welcome back, everyone. A little bit of a fire drill to get this one going in time. Thank you very much. We have a Link to the Past Randomizer Cross Keys tournament match for you today. Game 2 of Losers Bracket Round 6 between Alaszun and topplife. Also, I hear myself. Why do I hear myself?
I don't know. Let's see if I hear myself. I'm your commentator for tonight, Excalibur. You're flying solo.
I think you're picking me up, so I'm going to mute here, and we're going to let Excalibur take this one away.
Oh boy, that means my headphones are way too loud. My apologies. My mic is apparently too close to my ears. So hello and welcome everybody. Hope you're having a good night. It is hotter than heck here in England, so this is a good excuse for me to sit still in the breeze for a couple of hours and watch some Link to the Past. Unfortunately, I can't tell you very much about what happened in the first game or so far in the tournament for these guys, because I think, despite doing commentary on a whole bunch of races this tournament, I haven't actually seen either of these guys in a couple of rounds. So they're both pretty good runners. So we'll see how they go. I'm getting random bip bop noises in my background here. Yeah, it's. I'll be interested to see how these guys play. Because I'm in Europe, I have been seeing a lot of these sort of Euro-friendly races. We're getting a split start, which is more common than it used to be, with topplife starting at the Sanctuary to see if he gets that sweet, sweet early Kakariko drop, which he does. Which means that he's already checking fun entrances, whereas Alaszun is going to do the more traditional fake flipper to witch to Houlihan strat. So let's see if topplife gets super sad about finding somewhere that needs bombs before loading up on gear. Just 10 arrows in the back of the bar, and the witch's hut. If this is something good, that's good for Alaszun. It's not. topplife finding a dark cave at Thingo at Sick Kid. I'm attempting to use a new tracker today during the race, which is, I'm sure, going to go super. The well at Useless Fairy is a nice find. All right, the moral of the story here is don't try to learn how to use a new tracker in the middle of a race. topplife doing his Kakariko sweep, yet to find any items of interest, but with a couple of bombs from the Sanctuary chest, can check the back of Chicken Hut here. And here's Alaszun finally, 2 minutes in, finishing the Houlihan drop, during which time topplife has already checked, 10 entrances or something. And there's Hookshots, the first real item to be found. Alaszun choosing to go right from Link's hut after doing his Houlihan checks. topplife choosing not to open up the Brothers connector. You'll often see people bomb that wall open just in case they find it later on as a bunny. Connector button here somewhere. And the bomb shop telling us that Skullwoods and Thieves Town are on the to-do list for today. Which is a interesting. Yeah, I mean, those are of the Dark World dungeons. Those ones are relatively easy to do. finds the big heated swamp, and Alaszun, having gone right, is now going up to the castle. Finds 20 Rupee Man, who isn't particularly of interest. Along the way, he's also found 10 bombs, which is nice, presumably from a bomb shop, and cannon at the castle. So sooner or later, we're going to have to walk around the side of the castle to go beat up cannon, but it's going to be substantially later. And now he's going to get the good news about starting the location of this starting point. And topplife finds a connector up to East Death Mountain, which is a nice place to get to. Of course, with no mitts, it's going to have to leave behind this middle entrance, which almost always happens in cross keys, but so far a bust up here, but that's another connector. And with nothing better to do, follows it through to somewhere. Alaszun is trying to, I believe, rescue the old man in the dark here, which is non-trivial with no equipment. But gets there. That's nicely done. You could hear on the audio him playing with quick swap. That's done to find out when you go through the door between the two halves of the dungeon. And stops in at the fairy fountain for a little bit of health. Topplife also traversing a dark cave here, or at least trying to figure out which dark cave it is in the dark, which is not completely free. It's not the old man, so one of the less important options. And let's see if West Death Mountain has anything of interest after East Death Mountain was a total bust. Hotel Mario, I guess, counts as an important location, at least for comedy value. A Meyer Small for Topplife. Alaszun finding the first part of Turtle Rock, or rather the second part of Turtle Rock, when Laser Eyes entrance, which is there's a couple of items in there, but probably going to wait until he has some sort of gear. Presumably, you could go beat up Pokies with bombs, but that sounds like something I'm not interested in doing, especially on 3 Hearts Green Mail. On the other hand, Thieves Town, which he's found in the left drop, is 4 free items, so completely doable with no gear at all. So in we go. Those items seem uninteresting as yet. And Topplife is back to Kakariko. Somehow hasn't done Snitch House yet. Going to stop in for a restock at the restock room. Always a nice find early in the seed. It's one of the fastest places to get 4 bombs. And apparently a rupee every time you do it. Also Death Warping out of Thieves Town, having found the Moon Pearl apparently. which is an interesting item to have this early. Presumably makes him slightly more happy to dive connectors, but was already fairly happy to do that. But with the Moon Pearl in hand, we probably would have checked these two entrances anyway, but now definitely going to check them. Just the useless fairy at the other Kakariko starting location, or drop down. Seiryu pointing out that flute is on East Death or West Death Mountain, which is not a free item, a free location in Logic. But because we found connectors to West Death Mountain, we can use our hookshot that we got in Kakariko to get over there. So Sphere 1. Alaszun, having finished off everything else of interest up here, chooses to follow the Spec Rock connector. And finds the Turok safety door, which is a useful place to know about eventually when you get a mirror. And then finds Floating Island, which I missed how we got there. Gonna hop down. I'm getting resynchronization issues, so I'm sorry, folks. Check these two drops down here. Old Man Saving Quick. Finds Blind's house in the Dark World Lower East Death Mountain. 5 chests in here. Hopefully, at least some of them are interesting. Small key to ice, I guess, is the best thing found so far. Unless Fisher Price Shield counts. Topplife following in Alaszun's earlier footsteps. Alaszun back to Kakariko to finish off his Kakariko sweep. Got distracted really quickly by the old man connector, which is fair enough when you have a save and quit right in CAC. Shaking the connectors is very low downside. You might find somewhere cool to go, like Death Mountain. With keeping an eye on Topplife and seeing if he gets good use out of this hookshot for a little bit of time savings in Turtle Rock. Sorry, in Thieves Town. Apparently, it's too hot for my brain to work right. So, with hookshot and shortly a pearl in hand, I'd be interested to see where Topplife goes next. So there's an incentive not to go to the places where there are lift locked locations. So Ice Rod area, towards the desert, etc. Now both our runners have the 2 items we've seen so far, hookshot and pearl. So now where do you go? I assume that you restarted the mountain cave and see where this takes you. Good news, it's somewhere good. Alaszun choosing to open up the Brothers Connector, but not yet follow it. We'll see if he goes back there in a moment. It wouldn't surprise me to see that happen. Unfortunately, both the runners finding the end of Bumper Cave you can't traverse without cave. If you find the other end of Bumper Cave, you can just use hookshot. Also having a little bit of trouble with hookshot travel there, hitting the corner of the hill, I think, instead of the the actual location that bites. Hello, Blibro. And Alaszun death warping out of Skull Woods. We'll see where he's headed. Gonna check out, at least check out what's on the race game. It's nothing. And looks like he's off to go check Brothers. Nope. Yep. I was right, and he read his map wrong. Okay, perfect. Makes me feel clever. And the bottle vendor selling lottery tickets today. $300 for $100 is a good deal. But you can't buy their things more than once. Topplife now heading to North Hylia and the Lost Woods. 15 minutes in, this is probably a good sweep. You're a little bit sad to walk past Bonk Rocks and so on, but it's probably the densest location remaining. I think that's a bloomerang at the Lost Woods dropdown. So he's gonna skip that, but a bottle is a nice pickup. And Ganon's Tower is a nice find. Only 2 items in here for now, but we'll be back multiple times, I'm sure. One of those 2 items is an ice rod, which is a viable weapon for some purposes, and saves us having to look for it later. And Topplife, not somebody to leave behind the information of what's on the torch. Some runners seem to not think it's worth scouting, figuring they'll be back here anytime they get boots anyway. But Topplife continuing the North Hylia sweep. Finds the other peekable location at the Lumberjack, which is a nice find, and it's nothing, which is a nice thing to hear. So no, barring fun corner case outcomes, no AGA 1 today. And Alaszun, at least going as far as Light World Hype Cave. So having not found gloves or boots or any particularly good connectors, any connectors at all to the Dark World, the racers are starting to do less exciting checks. Ganon is castle uncle. Sank is bat. It's a sentence that makes sense, we promise. If you're new, I apologize. If you're new, speak up and I can explain what the heck's going on. Because I'm sort of working on the assumption that most of the people that are watching have seen enough cross keys. I don't have to explain how cross keys works. It's arcane. What you mean is bat is Ganon. I believe so, yes. This is certainly the part where if I knew how to use this map tracker, I could tell you the answer to that question. But I'm trying out Nunca Tracker for the first time during a race, which I'm sure was not the best idea I've ever made for map tracking. This is a remarkably the hookshot and the moon pearl is Siberian. The question is, what's the opposite? The what is at the pyramid drop? Powder at Lake Hylia Island, so we definitely don't have to get to the bat until at least we have the mirror. We saw Useless Fairy, I'm pretty sure, earlier on. I think. And Cannon at Smith's is, Cannon Castle at Smith's gives Toplife a few more connectors to check, including a really good one to a large part of the South Dark World takes the unfortunate overworld death, and I think it's going to go straight back there. Yes, Useless Fairy was at Kakwa. Lumberjack is a heart piece, servant of Testator, so nothing of particular interest. Which is probably something the runners approve of. It's a nice connector to Shopping Mall, which will pay out eventually. The drop downs are shuffled in cross keys, Servant of Testator. But it happened to be the thief in Lost Woods, and so they could still scout it. Alaszun was showing it to us in about 90 seconds, I think, while Toplife is dealing with the escape sequence here. With the sanctuary at the bat drop down, there's some question about whether you want to do key stealing shenanigans and check out the back of the dungeon of escape. It wouldn't totally surprise me if this doesn't work out. Toplife hard resets, comes down, steals the key again, and does the back. Given just how close this is to the sanctuary, it's basically free. Alaszun taking a death warp out of GT Torch room. I'm kind of surprised that's faster. And Frozen Soldier strats makes me happy. Pod Small chooses to keep it and death warp out, which fair enough. So here's the lumberjack drop for a heart piece. My apologies for the police car in the background. Maybe a fire truck. Life. life continues around us even as we're commentating on Zelda. And so, having completed the front of escape, Top Life chooses to take the left Hyrocrax exit back to the Dark World and do a South Dark World sweep. With one key in hand, we'll likely see him go up the middle. He's got a bottle, but he just dumped his B. But in principle, could do a mimic clip. I don't know how good Top Life's mimic clips are, but we'll go up the middle first, check these chests, and then after we throw ourselves in the hole here, he has the option to do glitches to get to the 2 items on the bow-locked side of pod. Ooh, a second pod small might change his calculus. Just looks like he's going to choose to go do the bow-locked side first, and then presumably death warp back out, come back in and do the back. Both runners being a little bit sloppy with their bomb front of escape. Surprises me a little bit. And it looks like Top Life is not interested in going and doing mimic clips at this time, which is fair enough. Yeah, ice rod strats. And both runners deciding that that pod key is good enough that they're interested in keeping it. Top Life certainly not hurting for money, so he skipped doing Houlihan. And with 741 rupees to his name, I'm sure is not missing the extras from Houlihan. Yeah, it turns out the dudes do a lot of damage, a lot more damage than all the other no weapons that they have too. Something I missed commentating on earlier was Alaszun did pick up the Bloomerang. It's an item of very limited use, but occasionally actually does something. On the other hand, given that they already have the hook shot, Alaszun using that to get through the snake's room on the way to Dark Cross. And Top Life's had enough pod for now. Apparently got the red cane in the dark room while I was watching Alaszun try to kill snakes in the dark. Red cane is a good find. Red cane is both logically useful for a lot of things and is the glitch stick. Top Life getting trolled by the mini mold arm there. Hookshot has a long enough wind up that happens sometimes. Mini mold arm cave has sword, also a sword, piece of heart, another piece of heart, and flippers. That is 10 out of 10 hype cave. Sign me up for more of that. And Alaszun also getting the bomb shop and chooses to do the west side of South Dark World first. Surprises me a little bit. People often try to put this off until they have the mirror to avoid isolating some checks. But there might be some non-obvious reason why it's faster. And I think Top Life was just about to follow Alaszun over there. So, but with the flippers, in fact, I would expect his next play after this one to be to come back here and then go around via pod area to North Dark World. It's kind of a long way around for a shortcut, but when it's your only way there, you do it. Ooh! And after 8 digs, Alaszun digs up a glove, which is a good find. Now all those rock entrances that they've been trying not to isolate aren't a problem anymore. It looks like Alaszun is choosing to walk back over to the pawn shop, or over to this rock shortcut route to check out the rest of Southern Dark World. And these guys are getting good use out of their hookshot. Travel item stuns a bunch of enemies, kills a bunch of other enemies. Really nice toy to have early on, especially before they found a repeatable weapon. Alaszun getting trolled by the Dark World guards there. Give him a hook shot. There we go. Boy. Mini Moldorms. Speaking of mini Moldorms, we're going to see the mini Moldorm entrance from Topplife. Sword. Piece of heart. Flips. Piece of heart is a heck of a 5-item cave. So at this point, I think the runners are pretty close to check for check. I think Alaszun has done an Eastern Palace sweep, and Topplife hasn't. And Toplife's a little bit ahead on this set of checks, but that's it really. And with sword and hook shot in hand, I expect to see both runners clear out Hera when they get over here. Topplife taking the moment to kill the caged enemy there, just to make this a little bit easier. Looks like he uses sword setups to get lined up. With only 3 or 4 buffers, gets it done. It's actually pretty smooth. Let's see what Alaszun's reaction is to this pod small that he's about to get. Less indecisive than Topplife, at least in the short term. And we'll see if he's interested in going Topplife getting bounced by Moldorm off of upstairs there. Gets to go back and try again. Oh dear. And Alaszun choosing to do the Dark World flipper across rather than the Light World flipper checks. So we actually are going to see substantial divergence here. Alaszun choosing not to go to the back pod with only 1 more key. Aria in the short term for him, which is a choice. Topplife finding out that Tower of Hera is the green pendant location, which is fine. The chess game paying out 11 bombs for Alaszun, which is about 1 more than he was interested in. Yeah, the choice of Alaszun to leave behind the back of pod, having found a is that even a vanilla small key? Certainly vanilla-ish. um, finds Spiral Cave at Dark Flute 5 and chooses to take the connector. This can only be so bad. So, you know, he was about to do a long walk around Dark World to get to somewhere interesting. Maybe this just takes him there by a long walk around in circles. Top life, and unfortunately for Alaszun, finds that Spiral leads to Race Game, which is Race Game is dead, and therefore that entrance is also dead, which is suboptimal. Top life with one Agate Tower key in hand, and having found Agate Tower, is willing to do these dark rooms in the dark. These are amongst the hardest dark rooms in the game, but I expect these guys to have no trouble. Is that Eastern something good or just an Eastern map? I only saw the word Eastern pop up on my screen. Man, these guys really wish they had a mirror. And Top Life, having checked out Ice Rod area, is happy to head out and take a Whirlpool connector, assuming he doesn't miss, which he did. Both runners have now found one incremental mail upgrade, hence they're both blue, we promise. Ooh, sick kid behind the rock in what is usually the Death Mountain Cave. Pod big for Alaszun. That might take him back to pod sooner rather than later. Yeah, that's not a horrible location for Swamp Seiryu, both because it's next to Ice Palace and because there's a utterly free connector over there, right? Like it's actually 4 seconds from Sanctuary restarts or something. So Alaszun made a trip to the northeast corner of the map in the Dark World, checked Catfish for nothing of particular interest. Top Life making this trip in the Light World, Zora's doubly in logic. See what he has to sell us today. The last thing we bought was 200 rupees in profits, so more arrows. The flip and lock location is not really paying off yet. Top Life remembering the existence of his old man save and quit to come check the vanilla hookshot entrance. And then while we're here, might as well go check Dark West Death Mountain. I'm kind of surprised that this didn't happen on his previous trip up to Death Mountain. I forget why he got distracted from doing these last two checks, which I think most runners would do with the Moon Pearl in hand. Alaszun also using the water portal over to near town, which comes up a lot more in cross keys than it does in other modes, just because the Sank save and quit is not up here, and so it's actually useful, particularly in that direction. I don't think you'd hardly ever do that outside of Interest Shuffle. I believe that Alaszun has already been through the spectral architecture that topplife is doing right now. Yes, also finds the rock safety door ledge, which is again is potentially useful after finding a mirror. On the other hand, they have access to the top of West Death Mountain, and so much more easily. And so actually, I don't expect them to ever go back there with mirror. Topplife getting around, quote unquote, finally to coming up to this the witch check, and going through the portal in an awkward direction. Topplife sort of gets bossed around by the little cage there for a minute, but that'll get sorted out soon enough. Finds desert left, choosing not to go in yet. Which is, I guess, neither here nor there. Not too much of a bother to come back there, and finds Eastern under the rock and chooses to leave that behind as well. So Topplife is now left behind things for him on his to-do list. We'll see if this is a bust, which it is. If he walks back over there. Looks like not yet. So this might. Yeah, this is in fact him heading back there, just from Link's house instead. Haven't timed that. Don't know which plays faster. Certainly, this involves more hokey pokey walking around stuff. Let's see if Alaszun has better luck with Moldorm than Topplife did. No, one fall each. Just bombs on the desert torch. Topplife finding the Turtle Rock Bridge coming out of desert, which is a nice find. It's one of the exit-only locations in the game, and it's one of the more useful of the exit-only locations. Actually, along with Floating Island, where we've already found. Finds the Hyrule Castle sewers key, which brings both the bottom of the front of escape and the back of escape closer into logic. I mean, the front of escape is now in logic. The back of escape is in logic up to a lamp. A lamp is not anybody's idea of a good time. And looks like Topplife is going to head out the third desert exit and see if it's something else good. It's another exit-only location. The only way into desert was desert left there. And having got spat out there, at the location I didn't even realize was vanilla because you never walk through it in vanilla. Chooses to walk over and do the Eastern Palace dip that he put off earlier. So I think for me, Topplife is sort of check for check ahead of Alaszun. Alaszun might have done several that were more inconvenient than Topplife, but I think Topplife just had slightly more efficient execution or routing so far. Not that I can point particularly at choices that they've made, either one of them has made, and say, here's where Topplife made 10 or 20 or 30 seconds. I think it's second here too. And getting as far as the mitts, Topplife immediately has had enough, because those mitts are of substantial interest. That gets us Dark World access. In particular, gets us North Dark World access without messing about with flippering around the side of the world. And so it looks like Topplife is immediately heading to North of Kakariko Village here to visit, traditional Dark World portal. I think it's the second time in 2 races I've commentated where the mitts have been the most efficient way and/or the only way to North Dark World. Topplife makes the semi-controversial choice to head immediately to Skull Woods. I have no strong opinions on the matter, but finds the front of Skull Woods at the front of Skull Woods. And presumably will be with no keys. Either going to the back first. Yep, it's like going to the back first. To filch a key out of the back to let him finish the front. Of course, the back is put in between these entrances in the wrong way around. So Topplife flinched a bit coming into that room. With Cane of Samaria in hand, the most annoying room in the game is much less bad. Looks like is attempting to get picked up by the Wallmaster, only for it to be the world's slowest taxi there. Alaszun choosing to continue in Eastern after finding the mitts. So if there's something in the back in these next couple of chests, that's really good news for Alaszun. Alaszun also has the Eastern Big Key from somewhere, which increases the number of checks back here, and it also means that if the bow were to turn up, he would just finish Eastern straight away. There's the Desert Small in Skull Woods, which I'm sure Topplife is super excited about. It's a fairly long walk to get back there with 2 of the 3 desert entrances in terrible spots. And now Topplife waiting for the world's slowest taxi cab again. The Swamp Small Key turned up in the Eastern Big Chest. And the Swamp Small Key is something that we're actively interested in. So it might be the case, Toplife also hasn't found Swamp, and so that's not, as far as he's concerned, a big deal yet. As long as Swamp isn't locking both the bows, or at least the bow that's more easily accessible, it's not a huge deal. Toplife finds Laser Bridge. Laser Bridge not in logic, but screw that. You can do bootsless laser skips. For nothing of particular interest. And then looks like he's going to go around and at least check Chain Chomp chest. Alaszun also heading to Dark World by a good old-fashioned Dark World access. We'll see if he also heads to Skullwood first. No, so he makes the other choice. Toplife making good use of Sword Beams there, and then making good use of Crystal Rollers to do 2 damage to leave. And now both runners are in Village of Outcasts. Alaszun getting trolled by his bomb there. Looks like Toplife is going to pick up the Smiths first before finishing the Village of Outcasts sweep. That might be a minor routing win, given they've already done the South Dark World sweep. Certainly not something I would have thought of, but seems clever in retrospect. Also picking up the Smiths in between Village of Outcasts checks. Looks like he's going to take the Smith on a North Dark World magical journey. Mimic Cave is a annoying find, given that they still haven't found the darn hammer. They found surprisingly few things that are actually helpful in GT, given that they found GT early. Toplife, I guess, could go do Tile Room, but that's not. Nobody's super excited about that, and they have no actual fire source. They can't do right, and they have no hammer, so they can't do left. And they have no bow or big keys. They can't do upstairs. So, sort of repeat trips to GT as they progressively unlock parts of it. Haven't been unlocked yet. Yes, you can do anything. So there's a special patch actually for entrance for the Smiths. So you can take him anywhere you like, except if you get another follower. And for reasons that don't bear explaining, the crystals erase him, but pendants don't. So you can fight him. You can fight Tredex with the Smiths. Tredex happens to drop a crystal. He goes away and goes back to his being lost spot. Just a bottle on Bumper Ledge, which usually would be a thing you're interested in. And I'm sure if they find Bumper Ledge, they'll pick it up. But if that was a really important item, they'd be much more interested in following that up. Alaszun now paying for leaving behind the backup pod where he left behind the can of Samaria, though of course he doesn't know that. Man, it hurts to walk past those two mirror locations. But topplife hasn't yet done catfish, so is going to take the opportunity to come check out this last North Dark World location and check catfish before sieving pudding. Topplife is going to be disappointed with this check in a bit. So almost an hour in, and we have some stuff. We have mitts, we have 2 swords, we have a hook shot, we have flippers, we have moon pearl. But there's still a lot of stuff out there that we need. Of course, neither one has done a map check yet because who does map checks and cross keys? But we need a fire source. We need some way of we need, I guess, a damaging fire source for Ice Palace at some point, for sure. Almost certainly need a bow, and the hammer. For how far are we in? There's a lot of stuff out there, and how many entrances they've checked. They haven't done a lot of dungeon work. They haven't done a lot of dungeon work, in part because they haven't been able to get into any of the darn dungeons. There's even a relative dearth of keys in their inventory. A curious race. It turns out topplife is going to go even farther with Jeremiah the Smith than I expected, walking all the way back out of Catfish, which is kind of miserable. Though he gets to feel clever with his hookshot overworld traversal here. To check the pyramid and maybe even check pod area, which I'm pretty sure he hasn't done yet. And there's the hammer sitting on the pyramid. Alaszun missed the pyramid check earlier because of some totally reasonable routing decisions, actually. But wound up taking Spiral Cave and then taking the portal up to North Dark World to do the catfish checks, etc. And so just skipped the pyramid. It's kind of a miserable check without the mirror in hand, and so it's sort of fair enough. Topplife with blue mail feels that 2 hearts is a totally safe number of hearts to have for these overworld checks. Probably is. We'll see if topplife also makes the choice to follow Spiral Cave and isolate the pod main entrance. I expect he will. It's one known item versus one. Oh, sorry, he definitely will because he doesn't want to go pick up the Kiki the monkey. Because Kiki monkeys beat up frogs. Something. Question mark. Alaszun finding the Elder House and following it through. There's Bumper Ledge. I missed how Alaszun got to the mire area. I will. No word of a lie. Presumably took a connector while I was busy looking at toplife's stream. But Curator Shop Dark Area. Alaszun's Dark Cave Traversal is really good. That being said, the mire area is less exciting than it otherwise would be without the mirror. It's only sort of 3-ish entrances as opposed to the twice that you get if you have the mirror already in hand. Both runners going to be actually reasonably happy getting a heart, probably. They'd rather have a real item, but so Top Life is now 2 items up on Alaszun. He's up the hammer on the pyramid as well as the cane in the back of pod. So we'll see how long he can press that advantage. And one of the things to immediately press that advantage is to go do left side GT. Hammer hook shot unlocks this, certainly with this many keys in hand. There's a bunch of items over here, all of which are now in logic. I expect them to go all the way through to Ice Armos. The Ice Armos fight isn't going to be super fun unless he can keep sword beams all the way there. But it'll be fine. Ether, the first find there. And Alaszun digging up Misery Mire. Misses the cycle there, but still a reasonably clean Mire 2. Kane strats on GT left side because Top Life can't be bothered picking up boomerangs, which is fair enough. Boomerang strats on that room are the fastest if you are super dope at them, but they're not actually free. So all of the guys that have done a bunch of vanilla speedruns know how to do them, and nobody else does. It's not quite literally true, but pretend with me. Alaszun making a routing error there and realizing he has to go this way around first. Top Life finding the flute on GT left, which is a super good convenience item, especially given that he now has conventional Dark World access everywhere, both hammer and bits. That gives him access to basically has access to every entrance in the game except for Skullwoods 3, which is Fire Rod Lock, and potentially Turok Main and of course Misery Mire. Oh, and the boots locations. They're like 6 boost locations, but whatever. Ignore me. And without boots, needs to do a bum jump here. I think if he really knew the Dark Maze, he could have just done it faster than that, but oh well. And it looks like the Ether, the medallions for both dungeons are bombos. Though Top Life doesn't know that yet. Master Sword Armos is miserable. Oof, flag too. Gross. Just no fun. Are slashes the right answer? Not pokes were the right answer. Armos, for those who aren't aware, Armos' damage table is super screwed up, and Master Sword Armos is just awful. It looks like Alaszun is back to pod with still only that one additional key, but he does have the big key. But yeah, so we'll go to the back, check the ruby basement, and then presumably hammer Yump and get the dark maze with 3 items on the dark maze. I believe that pokes do fighter sword damage, so they're better than swings, but don't quote me on that without looking it up first. Anyway, it's freaking miserable. To the point where I would have, I mean, keeping your sword beams or getting them back with a potion is totally reasonable. It's funny how trivial Armos is when you have the right stuff, and how much of a pain in the butt this is if you don't have the right stuff. Alaszun choosing to reset the bridge, come at it from the bottom to do the hammer Yump. That's a thing. Quake, 20 rupees. Compass, aka nothing in particular. A lot of work for Quake, 20 rupees. But that's what you do. I mean, that's the right play when you have hammer hookshot and GT is easily accessible. Go do it. That's the other thing you do with your hammer is come get the 3 items in the back of escape. I was kind of hoping the hammer was here, but it's funny. Gets him some reading material, aka a couple of fetch quests, and that one and one whole entrance. But we found all of the entrances we care about for game completion. Just say all the dungeons. So the remaining locked locations may be useful for items that we still need, of which we need a fair number, but they're not going to be useful in their own right. And topplife, having activated his flute, takes the Duck Express back up to Death Mountain. Successfully uses sword beams to avoid getting trolled by dead rocks. That was really clean. And then, of course, gets hit in the face with a cabbage, also inevitable. Alaszun does right side of pod with potion glitch rather than having to do mimic clips, which is a lot easier. It's a lot faster. Now has the cane, which unlocks some things. Question is, where the heck are the boots and the mirror? Feeling bad for these guys having to walk everywhere. Topplife just walking straight into the bunny beam, which I guess is one way to solve the problem. The Harris Small is nobody's idea of a good time. That's one of the worst fetch quest items in the game. And Alaszun is now down to doing like 1-item dips, which is a bit miserable. I guess with 2 keys in hand, could keep going backwards through here, but for those that aren't aware, this dark room is super easy. You put down your Smaria block, then you hold up, and lo and behold, you have solved the maze. I guess that's Nintendo deciding that if you really wanted to escape Turtle Rock, they'd make it easy on you. But and here's Top Life with back to Thieves Town. Looks like Alaszun is going to continue through Turtle Rock. I am not entirely. I'm sure that he knows where Laser Eye's entrance is because they found it super early. So I'm not sure what's up with this. I guess is the upshot of all that. I get the feeling he's going to walk out of here and be like, "Oh yeah, you've been there." And if it's just for safety, killing 2 Pokies with a Canis Mario is pretty time consuming. I'm slightly puzzled as to why Alaszun did that. Top Left getting hit by the crickets, but of course crickets today are just rats cosplaying because this is a light world dungeon, and it turns out that rats are just crickets that haven't been transformed yet by the magic of the Dark World. Something question mark. Anyway, crickets in the light world only do rat damage, which is to say basically none, as opposed to rats in the Dark World, which hit like trucks. I've dealt with both rats and crickets in real life, though never ones as big as the ones in the past, I'll admit. And I feel like rats are actually more dangerous, but what do I know? Top Life lifting the rock and going straight through. That was nice and clean. I feel like they could have used better security on the maiden here, but what do I know? Alaszun following Top Life into this Thieves Town play. So any further advantage Top Life gains here will be short-lived. Other than if there's something here, which there isn't. So in the short term, it'll just save Alaszun the time of going and checking the Thieves Town big chest. I think it'll take the mirror to get Alaszun to go check Pyramid, given that the Pyramid is not near anything. Just a bit disappointing. And no comment on the pun. Top Life with a very close to perfect blind fight there. No, not quite perfect, but not far off. And I missed the Harabig when Top Life was up here. Harabig now in the category of nice to have but not necessary big keys with the advent of Harapot. In fact, both runners have already completed Tower of Hera, so they're both hoping not to have to go back there. And I think that's the first time anybody's walked past Desert Ledge, showing us the Fire Rod on Desert Ledge. We haven't found a connector to Desert Ledge yet, obviously, otherwise we'd have the Fire Rod. So that's probably mirror locked, which is awkward. And with a flute, Top Life is not locked behind the shrine there. And straight back to this flute ledge to check the Mire entrance. Mod, please kill that comment. Now we get to watch Alaszun's blind fight. Topplife finding the dark connector there that actually leads to the mire, as well as Elder House connector, which is going to take him to Turtle Rock Bridge. Oh no, sorry, Bumper Ledge, which is not the most tremendously useful spot today. Looks like he is going to jump down here. Don't remember what Topplife has left to do over here, but he presumably does. Watching them walk out of Sanctuary over and over again is so miserable. Just give them the mirror so they can stop that. You know, I know it's not a huge time saving, but it's still and with the hammer, Topplife is back to both do Mimic Cave and to check this entrance, which is nothing. And do hammer pegs. I'm sure he'll pick up the purple chest as well. How to do hammer pegs the plebeian way, other than the Japanese 1.0 enabled item dash way. Imagine having to swing your hammer once per fence post. Looks like Alaszun is relatively desperate because he walked all the way over to just pick up the purple chest, which is it's a long walk. Both of them having to save and quit to get to the light world to drop the purple chest off. But Topplife got to combine it with the 3 hammer checks in Village of Outcasts. Oh dear. Mirror in the purple chest is truly impolite of the game. That is something. Man. And Topplife immediately, upon receiving the mirror, flutes back to the mire area to both get these 3 additional entrance checks and the fire rod. Alaszun going to check these right side desert chests while he's here. And Bombos is a couple of entrances, unlocks a couple of entrances, as well as Ice Palace, as far as Alaszun is concerned. Wonder if you might see Alaszun make a hammerless Ice Palace play, which is not going to work out well for him, but might be what seems best to him. Topplife going for a free bottle refill. Ivan, it is on the pyramid. For entirely reasonable reasons, Alaszun did not check it during an earlier Dark World Overworld sweep. finds an item location at Mimic Cave entrance. With the mirror in hand, I actually expect to see him get back over there sooner rather than later. Just because it opens up the top of the castle the three top of the castle entrances as well. Top by finding Hookshot Cave, really good find. Alaszun making nice use of quick swap there to use hook and mirror block deletes in this era. Lamp behind Hookshot Cave here is a yeah. Lamp is very often somewhere awkward in cross keys, which is why you should memorize all the dark. Maybe not the dark caves. They're sometimes useful, but not all that often. I missed where the front of Hookshot went, but it looks like Topplife wasn't interested, so he's on his way back out. They've had access to the floating island for a long time, and so basically as soon as they got the mirror, they were going to come make these checks. Topplife choosing to go check Tower of Hera entrance before doing the drop downs. Given that he got the book, I guess there's an extra check over here as well. And that is a hook shot at top of Death Mountain and Graveyard. Would be a nice connector in many seats, but not this one. With the mirror as deep as it was. Just $50 on Ether Tablet. Seems like a lot of work for the Ancients to just hide $50 there, but what do I know? Topplife also finding Paradox Cave at Hera. So they found both the 4-item connector and the 7-item connector pretty late into a seed. These connector item locations tend to turn up a little bit earlier just because there's more ways into them, but not today. Moldarm's still trolly an hour and 20 minutes into a seed, even when you have some stuff. There's sword number 3 and arrow number, I don't know, 71. That's it, really, but a sword is not nothing. Other than some essential keys, the last big item that Topplife is looking for is is bow. Here's Alaszun finally finding his hammer. I'm sure he's going to feel miserable about that. And we find that, Bumper does lead to the top of the castle. So we can check that off the to-do list. And here's Topplife back to check the drops. Alaszun finally making a map check in the Dark World. Learns that Missouri Meyer is not on today's to-do list. And might do a Light World map check here in a second as well. Eastern is a crystal. So that takes us down to 1 and 3 to have to do, or sorry, 2 and 3 to have to do Turtle Rock. But given that we know the position of both the rods, doesn't matter very much. And the Eastern already makes the bow entire 100% required. Did Alaszun just leave behind Paradox Cave? For no particular reason? Is your commentator going crazy? I'm confused. I'm quite confused. Skipping Paradox Cave seems like a very strange choice. Like, yes, it's out of logic from the bottom, but you have access to almost every entrance in the game, so it's probably in logic somewhere. You must be feeling way behind. I don't know. That's a super bizarre choice for me. Alaszun's setting up the bomb jump lamp torch lighting here. Remembering to wait for the wall master is one of the essential steps there, and does it actually pretty nicely and clean. It's well done. We'll see how the moth fight goes. GT Big in Meyer is currently 1 check without the bow, which is a bit unfortunate. Oh, sorry, Topplife has cane fire rod, so he might go back and do full right at some point and pick up the big chest on his loop. Alaszun finding out that well, he already knew Skull Woods was a crystal. Now has both the 5/6 crystals. Knows where the bomb shop is. It's just here. And is presumably off to go use it. So to me, these are the plays of a man that thinks he's behind. Presumably, after finding the hammer on Pyramid, he's decided that he is losing, and so is going to make some high variance plays to try to catch up. And as Seiryu is pointing out, this is a skip paradox to leave this portal here, so that this bomb shop check is way less miserable than it otherwise would have been. Top life find is the mushroom in the back of Sahasrala's house. I missed the green pendant turned in, but it looks like it was nothing particularly exciting. That is, if you're going to hide out as an old man from Ganon, it's the best place to do it. And now we're going to get the paradox checks from Alaszun. And there's the Eastern Palace Big Key, which I was wondering where Alaszun had found earlier. The reason that's relevant is that the Eastern Palace Big Key is the Swamp Palace Small Key. Sorry, the Eastern Palace Big Chest is the Swamp Palace Small Key, which Alaszun has from an earlier Eastern Palace tip. Alaszun going to do the paradox bomb jump to check the upstairs exits. Looks like Toplife is with mirror in hand, going to check the mirror spots, which is fair. And Alaszun finally getting to not walk to the front door of the sanctuary, which is a nice change of pace. 90-minute back of escape. Exactly what you're looking for when it's right here. Seiryu beating Siberian to the punch on reminding me to thank everybody. And if you listening to me talk by myself is grating on your ears, then you too can volunteer to do commentary if that's something that sounds like it's fun. At the Discord link, as listed. Seiryu and Siberian are our trackers tonight. They're both doing a great job. They're reminding me of some things in the background, as well as chatting in chat. And our streamer tonight actually had to change over in the middle of the stream. So thanks both Cubs Rule and Void Kingdom. You volunteer at the tournament Discord. There is a volunteer. There's a channel there that explains how to do it. And given they put up with my lousy audio with the world going on in the background, as long as you don't live on top of literally a volcano or something, I'm sure they'll put up with it. I literally live above a shop that makes custom Harleys, so fortunately it's late enough that that's not going to happen, but thing happens. Hey, other commentary, explain what's going on while I fix my streams. Oh, that didn't work. Oh well. All right, my streams are back. And Alaszun hasn't gotten to any checks yet, so that's good. All right, my streams are resynchronized. Everybody's cool. And Toplife, despite also having the 5-6 crystals, walks straight past the bomb shop, which is next door, and is off to the races. So won't get the precisely nothing that Alaszun got from the bomb shop entrance. I guess you refilled a bottle, but Butter Sword. Oh, that's fair. Potion Shop is a less critical entrance until they have the mushroom, which was also a terrible entrance. And Toplife is finally going to come back and do Dark Cross. Of course, it's slightly less dark for him because he has a lamp, which feels like cheating in cross keys. Alaszun having to do all of Ice Palace with bombos and no half magic is not great. Yeah, red mail now for Toplife. With the mirror, that's basically strictly an upgrade. So there's a few places you need to lose sword beams. It's not great, but it's also a very minor thing. French Vanilla Ice Palace Big Key in the iced tea room. It's astonishing how one of the trolliest things in Keysanity is for keys to be where you expect them to be. Now has to go back around the shop here to go check big chest. Was that my audio is terrible, Saber? Second and see it. Let me see if I can sort that out. Okay, hopefully it's all on Saryu's end. I live in Europe where they have internet that doesn't suck, so. And Alaszun gets crystal number 3, I believe, from the bottom of Ice Palace. Toplife not too far behind. Having a little bit of trouble getting his icebreaker set up perfectly. And having not found the dam, I don't believe, Alaszun can't get into to Swamp. But he is going to get. He's going to find Sestrala for the mushroom. This mushroom turn-in is less free for Alaszun than it is for Toplife because Alaszun hasn't done GT left yet. I'm kind of surprised at that. GT left is a sort of totally reasonable play for him to be doing. This might be it, in fact. Yeah, Alaszun baiting me there by walking straight through the flute thing. I'm like, he doesn't have the flute yet. Where's he going? Toplife also getting the good/bad news about the location of the Ice Palace Big Key. And looping back around to check it. Looks like Alassun's going to do the hammer checks that topplife did earlier now. As previously mentioned, this will be a slight efficiency loss because topplife got to stack up the purple chest check with the stuff. So topplife is somewhat ahead just on sort of small efficiency plays, a bunch of which were because he got hammer a lot earlier, and than Alaszun did. Both the runners are presumably going to be hoping like heck their opponent hasn't found the boots. And they both got the mirror pretty late. Admittedly, it was in a pretty terrible spot, but so for those that are just joining us, the mirror was at purple chest, which meant that they had to pick up Jeremiah, then get the mitts, which were actually pretty early. Then do a complete, save and quit, return the smith. Go back to the Dark World, lift the rock, pick up the purple chest, save and quit, turn in the purple chest, get the mirror. Not the most possible, chain to get the mirror. It's not in logic very deep in terms of spheres, but because I think both the gloves and the mitts were pretty early, but it certainly wasn't great. So Alaszun, without the flute in hand, is going to head back to Meyer via this dark room, which he did earlier in the dark. So not so bad, especially going this way. Also, having done in the dark earlier, now does it and shows us what he's doing. He's going to get the fire rod out of this. Is going to get 3 entrance check, none of which are anything particularly interesting, I believe. But he's also going to get the fire rod. I think I said fire rod at both ends of that sentence, which is what happens when you talk to yourself. I'm sorry. And topplife finally going to show us the pod main entrance. The last remaining thing of great interest out there is the dam. You've checked this already. This is topplife just using Super Bunny as a connector, which you don't see very often. Especially with the boots, jeez. Walk. So now Alaszun has both fire rod and cane and hook and hammer. Now is he interested in going to GT? And the GT big? I mean, it's correct to finish your route, but I'm a little bit surprised at how long Alaszun is putting that off. So Alaszun showing us that Bombos opens up nothing useful, at least here, whilst topplife is busy getting Bombos on the other screen. And also showing us that the Desert Main entrance is also useless. So, oh well. Looks like Alaszun is going to do some sweet connector routing back up to, I think this is Turtle Rock Ledge. And topplife going to check Turtle Rock Main for us. Again, the last remaining entrance of great interest is, sorry, Bumper Ledges, right? It was somewhere good. And in fact, I have a tracker that tells me where it goes. I'm just trying to look at it. And there's the dam at the southwest Death Mountain Foothills Cave, aka Light World Bumper Ledge, aka Death Mountain Escape, which opens up an item, and or more importantly, opens up Swamp Palace, which Alaszun has the key for. So we'll see how excited he is about making that play as well. Here's the GT play first. It's like right first, which is probably the most popular choice. I expect him to see him do Tile Room as well. Unfortunately for Alaszun, Toplife is following him straight into these same plays. Some people just have fun, enjoy the stupid boomerang tile room shenanigans. I don't know which one has, if the pulling on the wall with the cape has fewer lag frames or more lag frames. Certainly the swinging your sword around has lag frames, so. Bow at Tile Room. So that's the last major, definitely required item of the game. There's still the open question. We need one more big key. It's not clear which key it is. It's either Turtle Rock or Desert Big Key. And then we're good to go. So, I definitely don't climb the tower with the bow yet. I would do left first. Left side first, all the way around to Ice most of the big chest for another, whatever it is, 12 items. And then I would expect to see Alaszun go do Eastern. And maybe Pod as well. Complete the Crystal Dungeons you can complete. Toplife doing Spike Cave. And without the boats, gets to walk out of here like a plebeian. There's sweet spin speed runouts that you can do here. Looks like Seiryu is on team climb, and I'm on team do it later. So, given how convenient GT is, I think you'll leave it and come back if necessary. But there's I don't think either play is unconscionably bad. And looks here's Toplife checking Skullwood's back, one of the less convenient entrances in the game, and getting the mirror out to mirror over and check pedestal. Surprises me a bit. They're a long way from being able to get the pedestal at the moment. So, oh, and there's Alaszun finally getting the flute. Just a bottle of blue goo on the pedestal, so we're not going to be back there. And this looks to me like Toplife walking over to do GT right. Which erases or will eventually erase one of the advantages that Alaszun has over topplife, which is the Swamp Palace small key. I enjoy the runners that check big chest before Isarmos. I think it's marginal on how fast it is, but it means you can't screw it up. Alaszun trying to get exactly the right pixel here for the Isarmos fight. I find it interesting that the bottom right setup is still very popular for Isarmos, presumably because it leaves you at the top of the door, whereas for regular almost nobody uses the bottom right starter anymore. Yeah, topplife has had access to tile room for a long time, and could have had that bow, what, like literally an hour ago? Something close to that. And Alaszun off to go turn on his flute. I have a Hyrule National Anthem emote on this channel. It's like, no. I believe that was the mirror shield at the dam, which nobody's interested in. It is kind of astonishing how useless that the shields are in this game. And top left doing full right side all the way through to the big chest while he's there. Having already gotten all the chests out of here earlier, Alaszun's just going to run straight to the back. Basically go mode Eastern Palace. And like Alaszun, Half-Life not interested in climbing at this time. He is interested in doing Eastern. He's gonna have to spend a little bit longer in here than Alaszun did, just because he only got he went in here, he found the mitts in the second chest, and was like, nope, I'm good. Yes, the runners are Turtle Rock, Big P for go mode. Of course, Turtle Rock, Big P could be locked behind other items we don't have yet, but particularly in all the freaking boots lock locations which we haven't found. They have all of the entrances of interest, which is to say all of the dungeons and the dam and cannon drop. Alaszun, after an absolutely beautiful Isarmos fight, totally duffs regular Harmos. Boy. Does get the quick kill even after screwing up the 18 arrow pattern, which was a nice recovery, but oopsies. Alaszun's saving and quitting presumably means he wants to start somewhere that's not easy to flute. What you doing, Alaszun? I feel like that's a... Oops, I forgot that I had the flute moment. Looks like heading straight to Swamp. Might have been faster. It's close. Swamp's in this rock right here. And Top Life having way more kit than you're supposed to have going through Eastern, not even bothering to care about the enemies and just walking through them. So, interestingly, if the last item that they need, which is Turtle Rock Big Key... Oh, sorry, Turtle Rock Big Key turned up. Where was Turtle Rock Big Key? Was it just then, while I was busy thinking about what they needed to do for Go Mode? Alright, Alaszun's just stone ahead now. So I think Top Life checked more stuff, was ahead for a lot of the race. But Alaszun has recovered basically by doing the obvious things sooner than Top Life did. When Top Life was off, checking Skull Woods 3 and so on and so forth. Alaszun has found the items, caught up, and is now in Go Mode. And an extra pod small is nothing to be sad about. I'm pretty sure they don't need it, but we see some Dever down here in a second. Alaszun's still checking the really easy to check chests, presumably for silvers. Or boots. It's another thing worth finding. Top Life choosing to do pod before Swamp, which is a perfectly reasonable choice. Unfortunately for him, Go Mode is in Swamp, and boots are in Swamp, so it's not going to work out. I think Alaszun even skipped doing left side, which is... skipped doing left side because the Go Mode was in the front. Getting kind of owned on the last phase of Argus here. Kind of owned here is 10 seconds, but there are ways to make that look beautiful, and that was merely good. And Top Life hasn't yet checked the big chest, and so gets to redo his hammer jump just to get this one item. When you're one item from Go Mode, I'm tempted to put this off until... I would have killed Helmsman first, but it's just me. I guess this is 3 items. Opted out of doing Dark Maze earlier with less kit. And now pod, Alaszun just gets to Go Mode. This this race had taken an unfortunate twist for Top Life, and for all those interested in seeing Game 3. But it happens sometimes. That tile room bow was the turning point, I think. I am not sure why it took Top Life as long as it did to do GT right side, and particularly tile room. You often see runners in cross keys do tile room pretty aggressively, and you sort of have to be in the area, and GT wasn't particularly in the area of anything else, but it's in logic with just the cane, and Top Life's had that cane for a long time. Admittedly, that cane has been out of logic for most of that time, because it was locked. It was in TR basement, and so it's behind a bunch of pod keys. But so we've hit the 2 hour mark. So this isn't we've exited Jet Seed territory, but this is still going to be a pretty good time for Alaszun. Maybe like a 2:03, maybe. And with Ganon at the castle drop, and Alaszun at Dark Lake Hylia. TR Big was second chest in Swamp, I think. And Alaszun mirroring straight outside. Alaszun, where are you going? Oh, to the rock, right. Sorry, I was excited. I forgot you had to go beat Trinex yet. Call it a 2:06 instead. Topplife finishes up pod. And he's not in go mode yet, so he's still checking stuff. Which is unfortunate. Kind of surprised he's willing to stop and pick up the powder there. The powder's locked behind GT upstairs. And so, I mean, it's a nice safety to have, but he's got 13 hearts in red mail. Super clean Trinex from the back from Alaszun. Butter Sword helps. Just excellent execution right there. Well, I mean, Footer Rock is one of the nice things about entrance is that you almost always find Laser Bridge somewhere you can get to. It saves you an awful lot of hanging around on Safari platforms to get to Trinex. Flutes back over to 4, and then just a quick jog up to the castle to fight Ganon. That's not how you get there, Alaszun. There we go. Super clean TR execution, slightly bad getting to the Uncle execution here. We saw TR front, Seiryu, so. And Top is now in go mode, which is unfortunately for him too little, too late. 6. I think 1+1 cycle. Ganon. Alright, there we go. Could be worse. One teleport at the end there to make it up to you. Silver arrows near sparks. Where is that? I have no idea where that clue is supposed to be. We found Meyer's shed. Pretty sure. I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where near sparks is instead of giving commentary on this reasonably clean Silverless Ganon fight. So the answer to the question of did you find silver arrows near sparks is no. And so we get to watch Alaszun hit Ganon a few more times than you need to do when you have the silver arrows. But not so many mark his better sword. So in 206, almost 206 flat, Alaszun is victorious. GG to him. We'll see if Top-Life is interested in finishing the seed. I'm sure Void Kingdom will be asking them about interviews momentarily.
Alaszun said he will be down for a short one.
Sure.
And Top-Life is right here as well. Hi.
Well, good day, gentlemen.
Good day, everybody.
Congratulations, Alaszun. Hard luck, Top-Life. That bow location, I think, got you in the end there.
Yeah, I thought so.
I thought the bow might be the one nice thing I had. I was pretty upset when I found my go mode when I did. Since I had to, since I was like, you know what, like, I got this bow, I could just leave right now, get up to 6 crystals, I have a full swamp to do, and then I open the second chest in Swamp Palace, and the Turtle Rock Big Key is just sitting there. But at least I got a flute, I guess.
You did get a flute. So I think that you were clearly behind basically that entire seed until you chose to do Tile Room. So.
Did he skip Tile Room entirely?
Until about a minute after you did, but I think your completion is going to be 20 checks less than Top-Life's or something.
I believe that. I had a pretty inefficient route that seed, and felt not overall super great about my play, but I skipped a lot. I got to basically go mode swamp. I got to never find Hype Cave. I left a lot of orphans this seed and wasn't feeling super great about it, so I kind of lucked out.
Yeah, the hammer leading to the flute were the two big things you left behind for a long time.
Yeah, the hammer really, really made me feel bad. I felt okay with the mirror, but the hammer, it's in that spot. I'm like, you know what? I don't really want to go to Pyramid until it has the mirror. And of course, the hammer's just right there.
So, other than the part where you got unlucky at the end there, Top-Life, how do you feel about your play?
Not good. I don't know. Like my head isn't totally in the right place. My execution was, I don't know. I took unnecessary damage a lot of the time. I had an unnecessary death. There was a lot of stuff there going on, which wasn't great. Ice Armors was bad. not too much
you're-
pulse there.
Watching Master Sword Ice Armos was just, I felt bad. Like,
It's like that's where I felt really bad for not having learned how to do the route in blind when I just palm over.
Right.
Because I wanted my sword beams.
yeah, it's one of the few times in the game you're actively interested in sword beams. And your bomb jump execution to get over to Ice Armos wasn't even that clean. And I think, in fact, on commentary I said you should have just walked over there. But only so much you can do.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. I probably lost a few minutes on execution, so if I had been on my normal self, I think it'd been quite close.
Yeah. So both of you, so topplife, you went to left side GT basically as soon as you possibly could, which is a reasonable choice. Alaszun, you did kind of very much the opposite, that you put off GT.
I mean, why would I go to left
quite a
side
long-
GT when I have Swamp Palace and Ice Palace? Forgetting that I hadn't found this stupid dam.
Yeah.
I felt so dumb when that happened.
You walked into the front of Swamp and you were like, oh yeah, there's
I
some
was
other
like-
thing I have to do.
I was like, what is holding me back? Like, there's 2 crystal dungeons. Why in the back of my mind I'm like, no, I can't quite do that yet. And then I watched, I'm like, oh, right.
Yep.
I'm an idiot because I knew what I was doing this entire time. And yeah, I would have ended up just going to GT if it weren't for that, probably.
Okay. So you're forgetful and it worked out. Topplife, you did. I think as soon as you got the hammer, you tried to exploit it. I think I saw you go to basically every hammer-locked thing that you could think of.
Well, it was more that it was in my route, more or less.
Okay.
Like, I had to deliver the Smith, and from the Smith, GT was really close. And after that, I could go to the Mire area, which took me to a connector, and oh wait, I'm in the Dark World again, and here I have, I have 2 hammer checks, and I have the purple chest, so okay, I'm just going to do that.
I assume you fluted. It was your access to Mire, not through the Dark Connector there.
Yeah. Well, I knew the Dark Nectar was logically as soon as I found the lamp, as soon as I saw it. But
Okay. Because I did that as a dark room, so I had been to Mire before I even had a flute or hammer or mirror or any of that.
That was a really nice, clean dark room connector, by the way.
Yeah. I'm not super clean from the other direction, but that direction's pretty okay.
I think you rescued the old man with no gear as well. Basically, like your 5th check of the game was rescuing the old man, I think.
Something like that. I don't think I beat Topplife to the mountain nearly as much as I did in last seed. I think I beat him to the mountain by about an hour last seed. But
I think he actually beat you to the mountain.
Did he really?
Because
Okay.
he got to East Death Mountain through the Sum Connector.
He had the 5 connector. The laser bridge fairy cave.
Yep.
And the bomb connector also got you there from the bottom of CAC.
yeah,
I
it
wasn't
was
sure
the
which one.
bomb connector.
Yeah.
And I was going to hookshot over, but then I found another connector, and I'm just going to rescue the old man instead. So I was back at the left side pretty quick after that.
Yeah, I as soon as I found that connector, I'd already had the hookshot. I'm like, okay, that's how I was logically supposed to get here and get my moon pearl.
Yeah.
Since I knew that pearl was out of logic.
Yeah, you guys both got to that Moon Pearl surprisingly quickly, given that it was in principle a Sphere 1 check. But the Death Mountain's a great place to be, so you guys both did that super fast. I just want to get your thoughts on that mirror location from a isn't Rando a jerk perspective.
That was terrible.
I just remember that, now I have all these one-offs. I've just been to all the places I can mirror to. I think I've been to every single one of them.
Yep, I had done the same. I got to immediately go and say, hey, let's revisit all those mirror spots.
I think Alaszun, you're the one that, like, walking past all the mirror spots in North Dark World to get over to Catfish or whatever. Like, oh man, that's just miserable.
Just like, la la la, I can't hear you. Nothing's gonna be important here. Yeah.
All right, I'll let you guys go. Alaszun, do you know your next round opponent yet?
Yeah, I think we have the first rematch of the brackets, because I get to go against Zelda, who sent me to the loser's bracket after a certain unfortunate Aghanim mishap.
Yes, I in fact remember talking to Zelda-san after he won his match, and he was hoping for the rematch. So
No,
we'll
that'll
see
be
how
a really
that
good
goes.
match. Zelga's. I really like playing Zelda because I think we have very, very distinct strengths in the seeds, and so you can get to kind of a very interesting spot where you have a lot of divergence, and you have me gaining ground in certain ways and him gaining grounds in other ways, because his execution is like absolutely top notch.
You think he gets you on execution and you get him on reading?
Yeah, I would say that in general, and I think he would probably agree.
Well,
I think when we played in brackets, I said I thought it was about a 50-50, and I would slightly favor him, and he said literally the opposite.
Okay.
So it should be good. It should be good. I'm excited.
I mean, you demonstrated comprehensively one possible execution error, I guess. So.
Yeah, I demonstrated quite a few of them.
And Top Life, Certus, you go. Hope you had fun playing the Cross Keys tournament.
Yeah, absolutely.
GG's, man. Thanks for working with really, really nasty scheduling.
GG. Fatigue got me in the end. Like, I practiced too much versus the match versus Andy, trying to get some of the tricks I know he can nail down. So after that, I was kind of fatigued. So I've been mostly just relaxing before my matches versus Alaszun.
Oh.
So it's okay to go now. Of course, I don't like losing 0-4 in the last two matches, especially not since I've been doing quite good against the same opponents in ladder. But yeah.
Yeah, so I think I would not have been surprised. Like, even coming at 1-0, I would have been negative surprised if Top Life had come out and won the series. Like, dudes, you're a really good runner, and like, I'm really glad you made it as far as you did. Like, we're both really, really far in the tournament at this point. Like, that was, I think you're the 10th person left in the tournament getting eliminated here, which is a really, really nice situation.
Thanks.
So, congratulations for making it as far as you did. Good luck next round. I think I said that to Zelda too. So, and hopefully our restreamer, our host, has somewhere to send the viewers. So,
Thank
have
you,
a good night, everybody.
Well, yeah. Again, thank you to our commentator, thank you to our runners, and thank you to our trackers. So, thank you Excalibur, thank you Alaszun, who just left, and Top Life. Thank you to Siberian UX. Wonderful stream today. Thank you everyone for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.